Good D, one-on-one. I think these are the things Indiana has to do. Guard the ball first, the action second, play faster in their pace and decision-making, and be disruptive with their defense. Throw off the timing of Washington.
Debbie's Keys are presented by Lexus TX. Dangerous pass there from Colson. And a moving screen called on Boston. It was not set when Mitchell started moving. There's the head coach of the Washington Mystics, Sidney Johnson, in his first year, was an assistant in Chicago last year. 18 years spent in the college ranks as a head coach and an assistant. Many people thought this Mystics team would be in for a major rebuild. They look more of a playoff contender here through their first 7.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. I think that's why they look ahead of schedule. They played in some close games, which is only going to benefit them when we get into July and August.
Citron, beautiful find inside to Iriafin. Washington's coming off a 22-point loss to New York. Before that, every single one of their first 6 games was decided by 6 points or less.
That's a smart play by Colson.
Mitchell off the mark on a 3, ping-pongs around. Howard couldn't come down with it.
You call that a boomerang pass. When you see a mismatch, you give it right back, and that's exactly what Colson did. She's been aggressive here to start the game.
Should Sutton off balance, stops down her first look. Oh, and Howard got in behind the defense, just couldn't finish inside. That's going to be a goal of Indiana's here tonight. They were held to 0 fast break points in that Wednesday matchup in Baltimore. The Fever already had those early 2 from Sydney Colson, so they've already got more than they did last week as Dolson misses from the mid-range.
Well, Indiana 11th in the league in fast break points, but that will change when Caitlin Clark comes back.
Howard had it knocked away there by Dolson. Citron bounce pass and Hull took it right away for Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana looks really locked in on the defensive end to start the game.
Hull, Howard, way off there on a 3. Fever are coming off a 2-point loss to Connecticut on Friday. The Sun came into Indianapolis, earned their first win as Sykes is fouled. Colson is called for the foul. Oh, and Colson maybe got the worst of it.
Yeah, she's got some blood. Going to have some infection control on the court in the lane on Washington's end of the floor. Well, Colson's been through it. He got hurt in the first quarter in the last game. Didn't return. They're knocking heads.
Well, you said it, the first quarters have not been kind to her. She went out with a left leg injury on Friday. Now getting patched up there on the sidelines. Fever are without Sophie Cunningham here tonight, of course, without Caitlin Clark. They are shorthanded, but they were granted a hardship exception. They signed Ari McDonald with it. She is on the roster if the Fever need her.
Ari played in LA last year, and she had 1 practice and 1 shoot-around. But they do expect to use her tonight.
Continue to tend here on Sydney Colson on the bench. We'll see DeWanna Bonner check in here for the first time, and a silver lining in Indiana's last couple of losses. DeWanna Bonner has been really good, 17 points per game in those 2. Bonner, who is in her 16th season, got going in Baltimore, in fact. That's where these 2 teams matched up last week. Got infection control going on in a few places here after that hard collision. So an early chance to huddle up here for Stephanie White's group. There's Caitlin Clark manning the sidelines here as she deals with that quadriceps strain. Spend a lot of time down there with the coaching staff. Stephanie White wants her to see the game through a different lens. And those are two players that you want to see back in a uniform here soon. Two key contributors to what the Fever are hoping to accomplish here in 2025.
Well, what Caitlin Clark does, that's the greatest compliment you can make for any player, is she makes the game easier for all of her teammates. She plays the game like a servant would play the game to make it easier. She just facilitates the space, the timing, the rhythm, and her 19 points per game. And then Sophie Cunningham, they miss her versatility, her interchangeability on defense, her ability to knock down, catch and shoot threes. You know, this Indiana team hasn't been whole yet. They've had pieces out, but I believe Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham taking advantage of their time on the bench to try to get better and do what they can to make the team better.
Sykes goes 2 of 2 from the line. She hit 55 free throws in her first 6 games. That's a new WNBA record through her first 6. She's taking 11 free throws per game and has been really dynamic there as we see Ari McDonald in. Bonner too strong on a 3.
Well, you can't foul Sykes. You got to try to keep her in front, and it's a challenge. The two quickest players in the W to me are Kelsey Mitchell and Brittany Sykes going at it right now.
Pass inside, Austin with the step through and a pretty left-handed finish.
Shakira Austin at 6'5" was a challenge for Indiana in the last matchup. She had 15 points, did a good job scoring on the block.
Fever had the first 4. Washington has rattled off 8 in a row. Indiana's missed 5 straight shots. Mitchell catch and shoot and ends it with a 3.
Great screen on the baseline by Bonner. She occupied 2 defenders with that screen and gave Mitchell a wide open look.
Mitchell's knocked down 2 of her first 3 shots. A welcome sight here for Mitchell and the Fever. They're going to need her to play well, especially in this Clark absence. Austin right back at Boston, draws the foul.
And that will be 2 on Aaliyah Boston again in the first quarter. Teams going right at her. And as good a shot blocker as AB is right here, one-on-one. There's no help from the corner, no pinch. And that's a one-on-one. And there you see the foul on the arm.
And this has been really the only area that teams have been able to limit Boston is by getting her in foul trouble. We talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, the efficient start she's off to. 3rd in the league in blocks. With 2 early fouls. We'll likely see an extended stretch here on the bench as Damiris Dantas checks in for the first time tonight.
It's not just AB scoring and rebounding, which are fantastic, almost a double-double. She had 7 assists in the last game, Pat, which is a career high for her. She is an excellent passer. Stephanie White was telling me today she thinks her defensive IQ is one of the best for a player that she's coached.
They want to use her as a hub offensively. Clark out. Here's McDonald driving inside. Got some quickness as Dantas lines up and knocks down a 3.
Ari McDonald doing a nice job getting penetration. They have 3 or 4 sets in that they will run offensively while McDonald is learning the system.
Stephanie White saying they want to keep things simple for her, especially here in this first game. And the foul called there on Kelsey Mitchell. We are level at 10. There's the newcomer, Ari McDonald, getting the hockey assist to Damiris Dantas.